everyone. It is my huge pleasure to welcome you to this year's edition of EIT Alumni CONNECT. My name is Ellie. I will be your host for both today and tomorrow. I'm sure that some of you already know me, especially if you come from EIT Raw Materials Alumni, where I used to be the alumni manager. And for the rest of you, I'm sure you will definitely know me by the end of the event. So this is the first ever virtual edition of our annual EIT Alumni Gathering. CONNECT is run by the community for the community. So it's your chance to learn something new, to get inspired by your fellow alumni, and most of all, celebrate the spirit of innovation that makes EIT so unique. Now I know it's disappointing that we can't all be together in Budapest this year, which is where CONNECT has taken place for the last 5 years. So it's our 6th birthday this year. But I also know that the physical barriers are not going to stop us from making connections all around the world today, despite the fact that quite a few of us probably can't leave our own house right now. We've got attendees registered from all over Europe, from Ireland to Greece, from Estonia to Portugal. I believe we also even have some people who are actually in Budapest. And we've got attendees who are participating from non-EU countries, such as the US, Taiwan, and Colombia. And in around a month, I will also be outside the EU because I'm in the UK right now, but we'll gloss over that. So it's not only the first digital version of CONNECT, but it's also the first global version. Part of the event today is also being live streamed to the general public. So hello to anyone who's watching out there. We hope that you enjoy the event and the chance to discover our alumni community. Before we jump into our pretty packed agenda today, I would like to invite all of you to take part in a really quick poll just to tell us what you're most looking forward to getting out of the event today. So on the window where you're watching this stream, you should see an app called Slido at the bottom right, and that's where you can go to complete the poll. You should also see that there's a chat function as part of that, so please feel free to comment, ask some questions there. We can't necessarily respond to you live, but there's members of our organising team, they're looking at that chat and they'll be able to pass on all your questions to the relevant people or simply direct you towards some more information. If you are watching from the general public, I'm afraid that this is a feature only available to the registered participants, so sorry about that. Okay, so by having CONNECT in this digital format, we have the benefit of eliminating all of those carbon emissions that we usually would stack up as we take buses, trains and planes across Europe to attend. Instead, we can celebrate the fact that by staying at home, we are fully in line with this year's theme, which is of course the UN Sustainable Development Goal number 12, responsible consumption and production. I'm sure that I speak for many of us when I say that the coronavirus pandemic, in conjunction with everything that we already know about climate change, has really been a catalyst to take a more reflective look at our own consumption and also how the products we use are made. So seeing as we all represent so many different disciplines, sectors, cultures, backgrounds, I'm sure we can all get something different out of our topic today, and we also have different perspectives to offer each other. So if you're wondering what's on the programme for this afternoon, you should be able to see that also on the same page as this stream for the plenary session. It should be right underneath this video. And as I said before, there's lots packed in there, so it's important for me to mention a few housekeeping things now. You will have received an email which contains a link to the workshop that you registered for. So please make sure that you have that link located and ready to go in advance of the workshop. It's also not possible, unfortunately, to change your registration. So please attend the workshop that you already signed up for. If you can't find the link, please mention that in the chat, including your full name, and our team will be able to resend that to you. If you have any technical problems, please just drop an email to Mariama. You should have her email address in the confirmation that you received for the event. So now it would be good if we could just go to the Slido and have a look at the results of our poll. So you can see there the link. I don't know if the results are ready yet, maybe not. But it's important to say also, if you want to post about today on our social media, please make sure to use that thumbs up GIF that some of you have probably already seen. We're also going to release some additional GIFs during our quiz later on. And also some of our alumni are taking over the EIT Instagram account today. They'll be sharing their experiences from the event. So please check that out. And as well, we've also launched an EIT Alumni Instagram, which we've just set up for our community. Okay, great. I can see the Slido now. So it seems like, yeah, the most popular answer, what most people are looking forward to, is to connect with fellow EIT alumni. Yeah, I can understand that. That is usually the big highlight of this event, and we'll have plenty of chance for that. We've got also a special networking session planned for tomorrow. But of course, you will also get inspired in the workshops and all of the other things that you could see in that poll. So before we get stuck into the rest of the program, I would like to hand over now to the EIT Director, Martin Kern, who is going to officially welcome you to Connect today and give us his perspective. Martin, over to you.
Thank you very much, Ellie. Welcome from my side, everyone around the globe, to the 6th edition of EIT Alumni CONNECT. As you said, Ellie, it's really a pity that we cannot meet in person. It's the first time we have Connect online. Certainly, I'll miss, and many of you miss, having the event here in Budapest. I'm one of those persons here in Budapest. And to meet, online events cannot replace this physical interaction, getting together, meeting each other. And certainly many of you will miss out on a good party in Budapest tonight, which would normally take place around the event. But thanks to technology and innovation, we can have the event at all. And thanks to technology and innovation, we can hopefully very soon get access to vaccines and end the pandemic next year. Meanwhile, students, startups, innovators, young entrepreneurs like you are among those most affected by COVID-19 crisis. They are trying to recover from dried up investments, heavily hit supply chains, closed innovation labs, closed universities, and much reduced international mobility. All of these topics which are at the heart of the activities and the support provided by the EIT. Because of this dire and critical situation, EIT already back in March started immediately to discuss what we can do in addition to our existing activities. So in May, we launched the EIT Crisis Response Initiative. We mobilized 60 million euros to provide to students, to provide to startups, to get them through this crisis and keep those companies alive, which can be the basis for a crisis recovery and a more sustainable and digital future. We also provided support to rapid response projects that can combat directly the effects of the pandemic and provide concrete solutions. And when I talk about concrete solutions, I really mean that. So it was not about research, it was not about long-term, initiatives. It was bringing things to the citizens, to the people this year. So thanks to that initiative, for example, we have now AI systems which are helping in hospitals, control centers to find the best treatment for COVID-19 patients. There have been improved sanitation systems for food processing, so things that literally save lives. And we're very proud at the EIT that all our 8 knowledge and innovation communities participated and mobilized immediately to make this extra effort. But of course, we're far from out of this crisis, and COVID-19 has brought unprecedented change to societies. So it's not just a matter now of ending that. That's of course a priority, but it's a matter of building a more sustainable future afterwards and doing things better and learning from it. And that's why I'm really delighted with the topic and theme that you have chosen for the Connect this year. EIT has a lot to contribute in this field. We have now 10 years on the back. EIT has grown, EIT has matured, especially in the 6 years since also Connect exists. And I think now we are Europe's largest innovation community with over 2,000 partners, 60 hubs in Europe and even beyond. We have offices in Israel, in Silicon Valley. We're expanding also with activities in China. So really EIT will become more and more a global innovation player. And at the center of what we'll be doing will be the European Green Deal, which is the EU's response to build a more sustainable future and helping entrepreneurs, innovators to work on clean tech, green technologies, and find sustainable solutions together. EIT already is achieving that. The 2 unicorns which EIT supported, that is Northvolt, producing the world's greenest batteries, supported by EIT InnoEnergy, and Lilium Aviation, which is the potential to revolutionize air transport by creating electric-driven jets, supported by EIT Climate Kick, of course, at the very heart, huge sustainability solutions that can help to build the kind of future that we envisage and help to bring solutions to the big societal challenges that we face. So where do the EIT alumni fit into this picture? So the alumni community is a community of change agents, as we see it, that all have a common vision for tackling societal challenge, make a possible impact, and do so whatever your background. And I think this is the key element here, because innovation doesn't happen by the same people talking about the same things. Innovation happens by coming together, thinking out of the box, making connections across different fields, different disciplines, trying technologies in fields where no one else has tried them before. This is how the big innovations come about. And that's why we believe the alumni community is a fantastic opportunity to exactly that, to meet with each other, to meet not just across your knowledge and innovation community, where you may have completed an education program, but connect all across. So I'll invite you to do that, to use today's event, but take advantage of this rich community which we have at the EIT and which we will keep growing. The plans of the European Commission for the next 7 years for the EIT foresee not just a higher budget, but also a higher mandate, more education, more regional innovation, and also more innovation communities. For example, it looks likely there may be an innovation community coming up on culture and creativity, which would be another fantastic enrichment of our joint community. So then what's in store for EIT alumni? We've done a lot of work this year, thanks to the alumni board driving this forward. Not just have we set the ground to have also an independent president in the future of the alumni network. We put in place a contract to support with the secretariat, and we are geared up to strengthen further the capacity of the board and helping the alumni community to do more of the activity, which you rightly said, Ellie, are for the community to define. So EIT is open for any great initiatives, great ideas coming out from you, coming out of these 2 days, and taking them forward and implementing them. And that's how we see much more happening in the future. So we see the EIT alumni community at the very heart of the future strategy of the EIT. I will end with a few words on what we are already doing in the theme you have chosen in sustainability. Examples are artificial intelligence, where we have a dedicated project and which can make a major breakthroughs in the field of sustainability, sustainable production. So for example, EIT Digital works on food and healthcare systems to make them more sustainable, together with other knowledge and innovation communities such as EIT Health, EIT Food. Climate Kick and Inno Energy have put together a clean energy transition plan, which is at the very heart of their strategy, working towards fast decarbonization and more renewable energies. Also, we have more and more education programs, starting even with the youngest, starting even well before university, especially supporting digital skills, women entrepreneurship, so that we have leaders, innovators coming out like you that will make a difference and build a sustainable future. Most lately, a great example is the Circular Economy Initiative. EIT Raw Materials and EIT Manufacturing are in the lead there, and the recently launched European Raw Materials Alliance, where EIT Raw Materials also in the lead, is another showcase opportunity. So there's a lot to build upon. We don't start from zero, but we can use the platform that we have in the EIT to go forward. So I'm really, really happy and excited that you will tackle this topic today and tomorrow, and I very much look forward to the results coming out of it. Finally, I would like to thank my team, especially Ursula and everyone from the EIT, to make this event happen here today. I'd also would like to send my greetings to Peter Ollison, who is at the EIT Alumni Board and passes on his experience as former chair of the EIT Governing Board, because I think this giving back, passing on is a massive opportunity which we still need to explore more in Europe. And of course, a big thanks to the EIT Alumni Board, who is holding it together, the community, and driving it forward by developing the new strategy and the new plans. So I wish you a fantastic 2 days, fantastic event, and you can be sure that EIT will not stop connecting people across Europe to make innovation happen, whether this is online or in person. So back to you, Ellie.
Thank you very much, Martin. Thank you for those words. I certainly agree that our topic today is really relevant in the context of the EU Green Deal. And as you said, I'm sure there's many members of our community who are or will be involved in projects that contribute to those goals. I think we'll hear from the communities themselves, though, first of all. So I would like to hand over to the alumni representatives to tell us a little more about each alumni community. So first of all, I'd like to invite Michelle Zucker to tell us a bit more about Climate Kick alumni. So over to you, Michelle.
Thank you, Ellie. And hello, everyone. My name is Michelle Zucker and I work at Climate Kick. So of course, I'm going to be talking about the Climate Kick community, the alumni community here. Today, I'm going to talk mostly about the things that we've been doing in 2020. But because it's been such a destabilized and unstable year, I also want to talk a little bit about how we got to 2020 and some of the really interesting and inspiring work that we have done this year. So Climate Kick has a very rich alumni history. We've done many great initiatives, many fantastic networking events. And in 2018, our community came to us and said, we actually want to do even more. We want more from this, we want to build more, we want to create more. And so a group of that alumni community went and did a very large research project. This is one of the slides you can see here on your screen. And they did fantastic work with the community, with other communities, desktop research. And what they came up with was 4 guiding principles as part of the vision. So the first thing is they wanted more openness, more diversity, more transparency, more dynamism, so more network of communities. They wanted to be able to self-organize, and most importantly, they wanted to be action-focused. They wanted to be able to create ways to take action with each other. So that's a pretty bold vision. So that was in 2018. And so the question is, how do you turn that into something that happens on the ground and in the real world? And so that leads us to lots of experiments in 2019, but all the way here into 2020, where we have launched a number of projects that have just been purely focused on empowering this community to be able to take that self-organized action. So it's for the community, with each other, and on behalf of the whole. So there are three main initiatives this year, and I'm going to go through them very, very quickly. There's lots of detail in these slides, and so to make up for the limited time, I've provided lots more info that you can come and look at in your own time. So first and foremost is the Participatory Grant Making Initiative. So anyone who is an EIT Climate Kick alumni can apply. If you've got a project or an idea, you can apply to get a micro award. You can do that yourself or with your team. Now that doesn't sound super innovative until you add the point that it was the community who actually came together to make this decision. So all of the decisions were a collective choice made by this community as to which initiatives we do versus which initiatives we don't do. So we've just gone through the first round of this. There were 40 micro awards that were given out as part of this process. So why would we do this? So what's important about participatory decision making, or in this case, participatory grant making? You can see lots of reasons why here. I'm just going to pick up one, and it's the first one, so it's the most important one, is that this is really values-based, and it's built around the ethos that the people who are at the heart of the decision, or who are affected most by the decision, should have the right to be able to make that choice. And so that's really what we've worked on in 2020. And so what does that mean for 2021? Well, we'll be doing more participatory grant making, which is fantastic. We will also be making, as a community, the decisions together over what are the local activities, what are the local initiatives we want to do. And it's also going to extend into our governance and our representation at EIT. So everything will be a community-based decision, which is super exciting for us. Then if we just briefly talk about Talking Climate, this was a citizen scientist-based initiative that we did, and it was about having really tough conversations about climate. So we heard from our community that it was easy to talk to the converted. It was easy to have that type of interaction, but people really wanted to be supported to have tough conversations, perhaps even with climate deniers. So this was an initiative that's worked on, first of all, helping each other and helping the community, but then training the community to be able to train each other. Again, there's more detail here if you would like to know more. Finally, we have our alumni annual event, which is coming up on the 12th. You can register here, so the link in these slides is a live link. Again, it's the same theme, it's the same principle. This agenda is being set by the community for the community. If you want to come along and host, you're very, very welcome to. If you want to also come along as a participant, then you can do that as well. So that's a quick wrap for Climate Kick. And then, of course, just to say there's tons and tons of ways that you can stay in touch with us, and some of them are listed here. So thank you, and back to you, Ellie.
Thank you very much, Michelle. I'll just mention, if anyone has any questions for any of our speakers today, just pop them in the Q&A in the Slido chat, and we will pass them on even if they aren't able to respond live. So now we will hear about EIT Digital Alumni. So I'd like to hand over to Jeroen. Thank you, Jeroen.
Thank you very much, Ali. So yes, my name is Jeroen. I have the challenge today. No. I have the challenge today to present you a little bit more about the EIT Digital Alumni. So let's have a look at what we actually do in the EIT Digital Alumni community. We always say that we are the community of the EIT Digital Alumni ecosystem, which means that we gather all the different graduates that are there from the EIT Digital educational programs in a nice and cozy community. These are master school graduates, doctoral graduates, but also former staff members that worked for the EIT Digital ecosystem. I see that the slides are not skipping. Any chance someone could help me with that? Okay. Anyway, I just continue talking. I see. There we go. So aside from these groups, we also have some associate members, potential members, and other people that we try to involve. And I think the total of people that are relevant for this are basically the full alumni. So out of our over 2,000 members that we have right now, we have around 1,000 full alumni that we include in our voting, include in our decision making, and this. Now, what do we do together with these people? We try to create value for our alumni as much as we can. And we do that by creating several types of events. We have local tech talks, we have hackathons, partner events, these kind of things that are taking place. And of course, these things had an impact around the globe. We did our best to involve as much people as possible, even more so this year when most of our events actually took place online rather than in physical locations. Before moving on to some of the online events, I want to highlight our annual event that we often look forward to, and is the flagship event of the EIT Digital Alumni. It's our annual meeting in which every year we gather for 3 days in one place to have talks together, to have workshops together, and to network mostly. But yeah, this year has been a bit of a different one. So also in our corner, we try to do as much as possible to have online events. We have done a series of Tuesday afterworks, a series of pitching contests in order to decide on our startup of the year, which I know you will hear about more later, as we have a representative speaking in the conference here. And one of the things that we organized was the first online hackathon, first one for us to make sure that we could do that all online, but it was a very great success. Now, looking at some of the bit more general things that we do, we have, of course, a community platform where online our members can mingle, they can find each other, they can help each other out. But we also give them the opportunity to give back to EIT Digital and engage in presentations, mentoring sessions that are taking place in the master school events, in the EIT Digital events, and so on. Lastly, one thing that I really want to highlight is that we are there to support our alumni. So we are there to give them the tools, give them the things to be successful. We have success stories that we post on our website. We help with promotion, making sure that our startups are visible. We have job opportunities and internships platform on our platform that alumni can find and can participate in. We support all kinds of different bottom-up initiatives that are there, like a picture here of the women at EIT that we have helped grow. And of course, we do that all by volunteers. So I need to give a big shout out to all our local representatives, fellow board members, and all the volunteers that have continued to do stuff for the EIT Digital Alumni in the past year. Because without these people, we wouldn't be doing what we are doing. Lastly, a call to action, as Michelle also had: get involved, join us, check out our social media channels, see what kind of events are in the neighborhood, and we look forward to welcome you as well.
Thank you very much, Jeroen. I would now like to pass on to my fellow organizing team member, Tiago Mendes, from the Community by InnoEnergy.
Hello, thanks, Ellie. Yeah, so my name is Tiago. I'm indeed an InnoEnergy alumnus as well and former employee, and I'm currently the representative at the EIT Alumni board, and also, as Ellie said, part of the organization. So for those of you who weren't there last year, I'll give a brief introduction also to what our community is all about, and a bit of the latest developments, the present and the future of our community. So getting into it, our main purpose stays the same. What sparked us to create the community in the beginning. So we want to really empower the young minds of the energy sector and really promote the efforts of the young entrepreneurs, part of our community and part of our networks. At the moment, we are a core of 120 very active leaders throughout Europe. We're still organizing, this year is more than 40 events throughout our hubs as well. And we have at the moment a bit over 2,000 core members and what we call friends of the community, participants in our initiatives. So this translates concretely into, of course, the community office, which is officially part of Energy and takes care of the decision making and the management mainly. And then we have our local hubs: Barcelona, Eindhoven, Grenoble, Karlsruhe, Leuven, Lisbon, and Stockholm. And we have also a growing number of members and of units of what we call topic teams at the moment: community post, so everything that has to do with dissemination of information and education, and the energy policy program to really also educate and promote conscious policy making. So we had already a quite long history since back 2013 when I started my master program, all the way to 2020, where the world is changing, but actually this year also the nature of our community has changed quite a lot, and I'll explain a little bit better. But at the moment, we're really focusing on building stronger foundations and expanding on what we've been doing. And hopefully the future will be, us being an active part on making the sustainable energy future a reality. We want to be, active part in it. Connecting with multidisciplinary approach and having a global impact as well, which is one of our main drivers also to be part of this bigger EIT network. So we do this by having different programs for our members, either through mentoring, either having also opportunities in terms of career development, access to different industry challenges, and we're investing more and more in content curation, developing articles, and educating the general public. We have a lot of events, talks, webinars, online cafes, co-creation challenges, trainings, and back when you could do site visits, we also did quite a few of those. And all of this happens even more so in our community platform, which every member of the EIT network can also be part of, where you get to benefit from all the things that we give our members as well in part. So we do invite everyone to check out our platform if you're interested in energy-related events, information, connections, and so on. And one of the biggest keys that we had since the beginning is really a strong support from Energy itself. It was very clear from the beginning that besides every other business line that Energy is having, really empowering this wave of young, passionate people was one of the pillars of the vision of Energy, and our CEO has been one of the main drivers for us, one of our main champions throughout, which made a whole difference in these last 7 years. So this year, basically, we shifted our attention back to mainly the education side, focusing on our students and our alumni. We're working closer with our career center, with our master school, and with our professional learning platforms. Also for our students, our platform was the main place for all the information regarding their university issues with COVID, with safety measures, and so on, really helping people navigate through this crazy world. And also we're keep investing more in connecting with other KIC communities to have, cross-KIC benefits and collaborations. The main events that we've done this year, of course, all online, webinars on different topics, online cafes, which are more interactive than webinars. We decided to cancel our flagship event, but hopefully we'll come back stronger next year. And we do have a leader summit still coming up. So hopefully for 2021, we will continue growing. We are developing a digital version of a scenario exploration system, which is a role-playing game to explore policy making and decision making. Like I said, growing our mentorship program, and continue with our online events. Hopefully after vaccine, also some present events. And I think that's it. Feel free to connect with us, and we look forward to see you in the next initiatives.
Thank you very much, Tiago. Next up, we have Ariadna Moreno, who is going to tell us about EIT Health Alumni.
Thank you, Ellen. So hi everyone, my name is Ariadna Moreno and I'm the alumni local representative of EIT Health in Barcelona. And today I will give you a bit of an introduction into the alumni network, also on the platform, the alumni platform that we are using, a bit of my experience as an EIT Health alumni and how is it to be a local representative, and also how can you organize events with us. So first of all, about the network, the EIT Health Alumni Network is a multidisciplinary community of health innovators building the future of healthcare, and it's made by the alumni and for the alumni. So anyone who has been participating in any of the activities of the three main pillars of EIT Health, which are innovation, accelerator, and education, is eligible to join the community. So now we are more than 2,000 members in the community. We are more than 30 volunteers as local representatives across Europe, and we organize around more than 25 unique events in 2019. So what are the benefits of joining the alumni network? So first of all, you are part of these like-minded individuals and community of innovators who have the same and similar interest as you have. You have the opportunity as well to join different trainings and workshops. We also offer free tickets to some of the main health summits in Europe and discussing topics of your interest throughout the platform, also becoming a coach or a fellow alumni with your peers, and receive job and internships opportunities from different EIT Health partners. And here we have the alumni board. So it's formed by 9 alumni members who are representing different regions across Europe and 2 EIT Health staff. And we also have more than 30 local representatives across Europe who are volunteers, people who have volunteered to represent the community in their cities. So about the alumni platform, so each EIT Health alumni can join the EIT Health alumni platform, and then you create a profile about yourself, stating all the activities that you have participated in. So it's a very good way to interact and connect with the people who have been engaged in similar activities as you. And you can also find in the menu like different activities that we are organizing as webinars, hackathons, training opportunities, discounts for different courses as well, and also different entry level and other opportunities related to job opportunities to find the next steps in your career. So a bit of my experience as an alumni. So here since my involvement with EIT Health in 2016 as a student, I started joining different events since then until today. And it was thanks to that I got to know my former employee as ESA Business Club, where I got to join different EIT Health projects, now not from the student side, but from the organizer side. So it was good that thanks to the network to got to know this partner, and we can also join the different activities as mentor and facilitator. So it's a good way to explore yourself in different aspects of yourself and facilitating this kind of events. And what it's like to be a local representative. So for example, with the local representatives in Barcelona, we organized the first alumni meeting in Barcelona, where we invited 4 different speakers who were representing different, let's say, like activities from the healthcare ecosystem. So we discussed professional transitions in the health innovation ecosystem. And then we can also have alumni representation in different EIT Health events, as for example, the matchmaking or the EIT Health Alumni Summit in Paris last year. And we are also volunteering for representing the network in the different activities that EIT Health is organizing. And then we also want to do a call for action, because anyone who wants to suggest any idea to the EIT Health Alumni Board and wants to get support from that, you're very welcome to contact the alumni board and tell them about your ideas. What do you want to organize, if a webinar, a training, workshop, anything, and we are happy to receive any of these suggestions. So that's it. Thank you very much for your attention, and I encourage you all to join the network. Thank you.
Thank you, Ariadna. Now I would like to invite my old friend Ali Hassan to present EIT Raw Materials Alumni. Ali, over to you.
Thank you, Ellie. Thank you. So hi, everyone. I am Ali. I'm recently graduated from an EIT labeled Raw Materials sector labeled Master's Program. So I come from the education side, and it was earlier this year that I joined EIT Raw Materials Alumni Community. So I will just give a little bit of an overview of our community. Our community is actually a bit old, not as old as some of the others you heard about before. We are almost 3 years old now. And because we are still a bit young and trying to find our feet, this year was quite tough in a way, because we had to readjust and realize what we wanted to do. So somehow I cannot go next on my slides. Yes. So our alumni community, as you see, we are approaching almost 1,000 members. Not there yet, but yeah, we'll be there soon. We recently, earlier this year, launched our local representative initiatives. Now we have almost 25 local representatives, all volunteers, along with 6 board members who try to organize and bring so many different activities to our alumni community. So who are we? We are graduates from master's school, from PhD school, from short courses, from business programs, from entrepreneurship activities, all organized or sponsored by EIT Raw Materials. So what we try to do as alumni community is to mainly provide a connecting platform or networking platform, so where everyone can bring in together. And as you heard from Martin earlier, that innovation happens or ideas come about when not like-minded but different-minded people also come together and have a talk. So going a bit further, I will give a recap of what we did in 2020. After it has been a horrible year, but still we managed to do quite a bit. And some of the things that we started with were to have virtual coffee breaks, and these went on for a few weeks, and they were quite successful in terms of participants. Quite a lot of alumni members were interested in them because they were focusing on different aspects of raw materials value chain, from mining to sustainability, circular economy, and more in consumption. So really a whole broad set of talks given by some experts from the field. And then setting up of our local representatives initiative, which I already explained, and thanks to them, we want to build our community much and go so many steps further from where we are today. We launched our alumni community platform, just like some of the other communities you saw. We also have a platform now. You do find opportunities there. You do find all the events, the news, latest community updates that are happening there. So it's quite young. We don't really have all the members yet, but we are trying hard to get them. And now there is an interest, and we see a lot of members are joining up. We organized, as part of EIT Raw Materials Kicks flagship event, we organized a skilled workshop for recent graduates from our master's school, which was applauded quite a bit. We had a lot of positive feedback. And in the light of the current situation, we also realized towards the end that yes, many of the alumni community members are going through a lot of troubles and stress. So we thought it would be great to bring about a stress management workshop. So we had one of it already. We will run another one, and it was very well received. So we had a lot of positive feedback. And also because of this whole situation, we see the markets have turned down quite a bit, and we realized that at this moment it would be nice to have a CB or a clinic. That's something we named, but to have counseling on career, to find our paths and go a bit deeper, have personalized one-on-one sessions with the alumni community from professionals. Other than that, I would just like to finish off here and say that enjoy EIT Connect, meet people not just from your own community, but from others as well. And connecting really does matter. So hoping for a better year. So enjoy, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ali, and thank you to all of our community representatives. I'd now like to ask Miguel Amador to just briefly tell you about the cross-cutting work that goes on with EIT alumni. So Miguel, over to you.
So good afternoon. By the way, I'm also the president of EIT Health Alumni, but since we had the amazing Ariana to present instead of me, I'm now taking the role that I have on this community of an interim president of the EIT Alumni. And this will be quick because in some way all the things were already presented by each of the communities, and this is the goal of EIT Alumni, is to empower this bigger community that is alumni from EIT, because we are a group of people that are passionate about innovation, about technology, and putting that to use to tackle most of the challenges that we face now in Europe. So we have this common bonds among all these people, all these different communities, and EIT Alumni is the place where we gather, where we discuss, when we try to bring people together to merge what is things and challenges that are not limited to health, to digital, to raw materials, but many of the times they overlap, people overlap and have different interests. And this is a goal of promoting this bigger community that is being powered by EIT for the last years. So we are now more than 10,000 members across the different communities. Of course, the older communities in the network, they have more members, but we are working to promote and help each of these communities to grow, to reach to more people, so we can together influence the future of Europe. If you already met probably all the people in the board, so Ali, Jerome, Tiago, Michel, you had them presented already on their own communities. We also have part of the board, Ursula, that is working at EIT as representative for in the board, and also Peter Olsen, that is external representative and give us this steering work that we try to push to combine the work of the different communities and do even further. So let me tell the main objectives of the EIT Alumni Board is in the way helping each of the communities to develop it further. So we are here together to work to the communities, and when we speak about the communities, speak about the alumni on those communities. How can we promote exchange? How can we in some way have people work and collaborate even further what they already do amazingly on each community? And in some way, take the role of representing EIT to the external walls, because in some way we are still few on this big effort that we have in our hands. So the more people we can engage to this common effort, the better. And we try to work on adopting strategies that we can align and work together as a group of communities. So one of the tasks that we have here, and Martin already mentioned, is to bring inside an EIT alumni president that is fully dedicated to this role, that represents all the alumni. And this governance reform is one of the challenges that we have been working in 2020. That's why I'm assuming this interim position as part of one of the communities. But we didn't stop by then. When we've been working and moving, of course, to the digital world, we launched online challenges. We tried to be quick and gather the community to tackle the COVID challenge back in May and June. We are planning to continue these online events with other entities to bring together this amazing group of people that are our alumni community. We also have been promoting different cross-kick activities. We need to mention the Women at EIT is a big effort across the different communities to promote the role of women in technology, innovation, giving them the role and the front line of this, promoting different trainings, job careers along these lines. And again, increasing the brand of EIT. We want people to recognize us as alumni from EIT and recognizing that what we are, passionate and innovators trying to change Europe. And with that, we also need to look, how can we promote more innovation? How can we build stronger ecosystems? And working to try to understand how can we do that? And of course, one of the main activities that we do is organizing this EIT Alumni CONNECT. So I cannot finish without thanking to the team, the alumni that are organizing this for the alumni. So we have Jacob, Ellie, of course, Aisha, Usam, Sylvia, and Mohamed being part of the team, of course, supported by Tiago Mendes in the name of the boards, and the amazing work of the EIT staff of Aladdin and Ursula, of course. So with that, the call for action: follow us, be connected, propose as many things you want. This is a community that is built by alumni for alumni. So hope you enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you very much, Miguel. Thank you, everyone. I can't believe that we have more than 10,000 members. That's really amazing. So we are now going to move on and take a deeper look at our theme, responsible consumption and production. And today we're going to look at it from the production side in our first panel discussion. So we have three panelists with us today who are going to give us some insights into sustainable and responsible production. They're from quite different sectors, so I'm sure we're going to hear some really varied thoughts on this. Please do go to the Slido, submit your questions for our guests there, and indicate who the question is for. That would be really helpful. If you don't state a name, then I'm going to assume that it's an open question to the whole panel. But before we go ahead with the questions, I would like to introduce our panelists. We have with us today Anthony Pijuan. He is the director for the Western region at EIT Manufacturing. Tony has more than 20 years experience in consultancy and project management, and he joined EIT Manufacturing at its inception in 2019. We also have Sela Lee. She is founder of the startup Allure, which has the mission of creating a more inclusive and sustainable beauty industry with its custom liquid lipstick. She is an EIT Digital alumna herself, and she's also nominated this year for the EIT Woman Award. So if you like what you hear, please go and vote. And finally, we have Harrison Wavell. He is Schools and Colleges Manager for the Ellen MacArthur Foundation. Harry designs curricula for schools, curriculum bodies, and NGOs around the world to promote the concept of the circular economy. I would like to open with our first question to Tony. From your perspective as part of EIT Manufacturing, what is the state of play of the green supply chain? And how can we encourage young entrepreneurs to become environmentally friendly right from the start? Tony.
Hi, thanks, Ali. Well, before I respond, I just want to say thanks, all of you. Thanks the EIT alumni for this lovely invitation and for extension the entire EIT. As you know, we are one of the new kicks in the block, so our experience is not that large yet, and we've been digital for nearly the entire year because we got our first activities this year, and as you know, we've been not able to do things physically. But anyway, that it just shows, this event shows me the opportunity to highlight the importance how live we are at the communities and especially on the alumni. So it's lovely to be here with you. So going directly to your first question, absolutely. I mean, we have seen a trend in corporates that absolutely have realized that supply selection, monitoring, and even having a partnership termination strategy based on environmental criteria, it has a positive influence on the corporate reputation. So there's still work to be done, but yeah, it has been already initiated. I have to just highlight that in our community, most of the members, at least half of them, are industry. So we have a very strong industry driven, and throughout some of our panels and workshops, we have identified several benefits of going green. And just to put it straight, the main ones are reduce energy and water related costs. And here we have an example also in a cross-kick initiative on water scarcity in Southern Europe that has created a really major impact on participation. But another one is an attraction of new customers and increased sales, because a company that might become even more marketable by addressing those topics, and especially if they are focused on public contracts. The third one is on the tax incentives. Not much to say here, although we have several regulations all around Europe. The fourth one is on to boost workforce morale and innovations. We have several examples even inside our communities where they ask their own employees about providing ideas and solutions on zero scrap or zero waste, and only by doing this they become suddenly very innovators, and they also create this sense of belonging to their entire company. And the last one is on societal impact. And there's more and more now companies that they do care about future generations. So overall, if you are an entrepreneur and you want to become environmental friendly from the start, absolutely, I have to say that social impact and not only economic is already a trend. Absolutely, the COVID-19 has also speeded this up by driving important changes that affect consumers' behavior, supply chains, and arrivals to the market. And all that had destabilized in the companies. So demand on new circular economy solutions is there. In fact, inside our community at EIT Manufacturing, most of the most successful flagship where we get activities is precisely the waste-free manufacturing for a circular economy. I would say 1/3 of our ongoing activities are related to this topic. So absolutely, there's a trend and it's a reality.
Thank you very much, Tony. I think now it would be good if we could hear from Sela as a young entrepreneur herself. So Sela, could you tell us a little bit more about your journey towards creating a company with the mission to create a more inclusive and sustainable beauty industry?
Yes, thank you, Ellie, for the question. And I have to say I'm very thrilled to participate in this event. When I read the topic is about responsible production and consumption, I was really excited because that's essentially what I want to achieve and want to change for the world. So essentially, Allure is developing. So I have my startup Allure for 2 years, and we develop mass personalization technology for cosmetics. So the problem we are trying to solve is that every year there are 120 billion cosmetic products sold around the planet, and 80% are not being actively used. I think if I reflect on myself as a girl, I think there are a lot of things that I just rest there on my toilet shelf. And if we can just change this number, if we can just reduce this number by 5%, the entire product that we save would be able to fill 130 million bathtubs around the world. So that's the scale we are tackling. And if you think about why consumers are wasting, why they are buying so much, I think it's quite simple. Everything is mass produced. We are all different. It's not made for you. So it's, you know, you don't want to finish it. And for me, the solution would be mass personalization. And therefore, since the last year of my master study at EIT Digital, I have been developing mass personalization technologies with my classmates, also alumni from EIT. And we have just launched our first product to the market this November, and we have received great customer feedbacks. So essentially, we provide a augmented reality interface where customers can choose their product, and we have built a printer for lipsticks where we can realize it within 1 minute, and then we send it to the customer store. Yeah, so really it's about how to say, to produce less with, to produce more personalized products with less material input.
Thank you, Sela. That sounds really exciting. You're really right at the exciting point of your journey as a startup as well. I'd now like to hear from the perspective of an educator, Harry, because as we've heard, it seems like this is not easy. There are a few challenges involved. So how can we all adapt our ways of thinking to move towards a circular economy?
Yeah, thank you, Ellie. And it's lovely to be a part of this event, everyone. So, I mean, for the most part, most of us have been schooled in reductionism, which is really about understanding parts in isolation from the whole. And I think a really big thing here is kind of understanding parts in relation to the whole. It's understanding connections and it's understanding relationship, which is a point that Martin made in his opening address. So I think this ability to think in systems is vital when we're talking about a shift towards a circular economy. So if we use a kind of quite tangible example, if I'm a product designer, I can't just think about the look, functionality, or user experience of my product. Designing for a circular economy means designing with the whole system in mind. It's about looking at the bigger picture. So yes, I'd have to consider the look, the feel, the functionality, but the scope widens. You're beginning to consider things like material choice, how that product is delivered, how it is packaged, how it is recovered at the end of its life. Is it easily repairable, upgradable? Can it be disassembled so that components can be retrieved and reused and possibly recycled? So you have the considerations become a lot more when you take this systems perspective, and that's vital for a circular economy. But this kind of approach needs to be applied at scale across all kinds of different sectors and areas. You know, it's as true for architects, urban planners, service providers, policymakers. It's vital that kind of think in this joined up approach. And I really like a term that Kate Rayworth, author of Donut Economics, uses. She talks about an ecosystem of resource use. And I think that's really a really nice term and is kind of indicative of what we're trying to achieve. And linked to this systems point, I think circular economy calls for a much more open and collaborative approach to working. So a lot of the silos that we see between different sectors and different academic disciplines, that can be a barrier to innovation and new solutions. And it's great to be part of this conversation because it sounds like the EIT community as a whole is really kind of addressing that issue. So I think as we begin to understand the requirements of a new economic system, that is going to help hopefully shape the way that we educate and the way that we approach learning.
Thank you very much, Harry. Lots of food for thought there. We've got a few questions coming in on the Q&A from you guys. So the first question is for Anthony. What are the key challenges to setting up ventures in the manufacturing sector in this context of responsible production? And how can you guys at EIT Manufacturing support potential entrepreneurs in this?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I would say that the main challenges are absolutely, it's not specifically on the environmental friendly arena, but globally, but absolutely has an impact. So our like maximizing productivity, absolutely. And that's when we say maximizing productivity, is minimizing production interruption, maximizing machines productivity, maximizing tools productivity as well, or process productivity, but also minimizing costs. That's a big point for manufacturing sector. And here we talk about minimizing product design costs or production costs, or even the logistics or maintenance. So it all goes about this circular economy concept. And finally, the third one I would highlight is to improve the positive impact of the manufacturing in what at EIT we call the 3 Ps, people, planet, and profit. And here we talk about maximizing the operator's well-being, maximizing job creation. That's another very important topic for us. Tackling the demographic changes and minimizing pollution and consumption, maximizing value chain and for less fragmented, and minimizing long distance chain of supply and export. So that's just examples, okay, on which are the main challenges nowadays. And then how can we support entrepreneurs? Well, as I said, this is our first year of activities, so our programs are brand new. So we are still in this stage of testing and improving our own pipeline. We have divided our programs from create, accelerate, and transform, depending on the maturity of the companies, because also we don't speak only about startups and scale-ups, but also SMEs, because that's a very important trend in Europe. And here my advice absolutely will be, okay, go and check our website at eitmanufacturing.eu, get in touch with your local CLC business creation manager. We have one business creation manager at each of the 5 CLCs, and it's there for supporting you guys and highlighting which would be the best suitable activity for you.
Thank you, Anthony, because I'm sure that a lot of alumni out there are working in subject areas which overlap with the topics of EIT manufacturing. So there could certainly be some kind of cross-cutting things there, I think. In terms of EIT support, the next question is for Sela. How have you been supported by EIT so far? And what are your future plans for your startup? And maybe how can our alumni community support you in your journey?
Yeah, so actually I came to Europe from China with the scholarship from EIT Digital. And in the beginning, I didn't have a entrepreneurial idea. It was more that I was immersed into this environment. It was about, the first kickoff was about trying to imagine you're pitching to investors and so on. And that really gave me this, aspiration of becoming an entrepreneur. And also I was equipped with the right knowledge during my study. And 2 years after I graduate, I am now a partner of EIT Digital. We have a project together this year, and the goal is to set a pop-up store in Paris and found partners for Elor to be able to scale up our technology to really make an impact, not only as a small brand, but also working with big industries. So I guess that's the second question, what's our plan? And the third question, I think there are 2 parts for audiences that are individuals, they are consumers. I think you can vote with your choice. You should not buy something or from Elor because you just hear my talk. I would like you to think about when you want to buy something and you really need it. And if you know somebody else that is making the choice, you can advise them or recommend them recommend a lot to them that will make a very big difference. And another point is that if you are working, so we are expanding quite rapidly, we'll very soon need competences and talents from the whole alumni community. I would like to keep close touch with this community and to see where we can collaborate with. And also, if you're working in a company that you think we have some future collaboration to be done, you're very welcome to contact me. I will be very happy to talk with you.
Thank you very much, Stella. So yeah, I hope that there are some alumni out there who could see a potential opportunity to collaborate. That would be really great. I would now like to ask, this is going to be our final question actually, because we're running out of time already, as is always the case. But the final question will be to Harry. And I would like to ask you, how are you currently working with young people on the topic of circular economy, and what is their response?
So we're currently involved in a number of initiatives. Over the past couple of years, I've been working especially in curriculum development. So the Ellen MacArthur Foundation is partnered with the International Baccalaureate School Network and the United World Colleges, among others. So I've been helping to shape curriculum and get the circular economy concept into subjects like business studies, economics, design, technology, geography, where it is a good fit. But we've also been doing quite a few direct to learner offerings recently. So we ran our first circular economy summer school last year in Oxford. And during the first lockdown that we had back in March and April, we hosted a 7-week online circular economy series for teenagers. And that was great because we knew that there'd be a lot of people stuck at home, not at school, looking for something to do. And we had around 850 teenagers from all over the world sign up, about 65 different countries. And we took them through this journey from introduction and looking at all different sectors, from fashion to food to plastics, and setting them a challenge at the end of each webinar. And the students went away and would submit their responses. And it was amazing to see the creativity and the innovation that exists in young people. And we're really looking to grow that community, to work more with young people. And I've recently been involved in an EIT raw materials project. It's a digital skills and entrepreneurial skills curriculum based around the circular economy. And I've actually been helping to create that. So really look forward to seeing the response of that when it is launched officially. But in terms of response, I think it can be quite terrifying for young people when they realize the scale of the problem that we're kind of facing, and they can feel very kind of disempowered and a little bit hopeless. So I think something like the circular economy, which is very solutions focused, takes quite a pragmatic stance, it has quite a coherent framework in place. I think when they get a hold of that, it's quite eye-opening for them. It really makes them see the possibilities, the opportunities, rather than just being focused and kind of being swamped by challenges. They begin to flip their perspective and see the actual opportunities that exist, and that there are opportunities now with technology and our abilities to collaborate and look at things differently that we've never had before. So I think it's a really empowering, positive message for young people. And I think it gives them a sense that, yes, they can actually be part of designing solutions.
Thank you very much, Harry. Some really interesting comments there. So, as I said, we're going to wrap up our panel discussion now. Sorry that it wasn't maybe as long as we had hoped, but thank you very much to all of our panelists for giving us plenty of new ideas and incentives to think a bit more deeply about how we can make our production chains more sustainable. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank all the members of the public who tuned in to watch so far, as I'm afraid the next session is for the registered participants, but you are very welcome to join us again later, just after 5:30, to hear the results of the 4 workshops that the registered participants are going to attend. So for the alumni, please stay tuned. We will see you in just a second. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the workshops. You now have a chance to let us know what you've thought of the day so far. So if you go to the Slido chat and tell us, please type in up to 3 words of your choice to describe your experience so far at Connect. First, though, we are going to hear a short update from each workshop host so that we can all find out what went on in each of the sessions. So without further ado, I would like to hand over to Tiago and Sylvia to reveal the takeaways from workshop number 1, which was Sustainable Food Systems, Awareness and Action. Over to you guys.
Thanks, Ali. Well, I would just have to say that for me it was super nice to be part of the workshop. I'm very passionate about sustainability and about the food industry, but I only have a consumer perspective. So for me, it was wonderful to have the chance to get more insights and to know a bit more about the work that is being done in this field. So I just have to ask Sylvia, how was it indeed for you as the facilitator, and what are your main takeaways from it?
I think it was a really meaningful lesson. And we bring awareness to the food supply chain. We bring awareness, like seeing what were our main beliefs and feelings towards the food system. And then from there, we discuss all together. We realize which are the food system challenges. We saw them in how complex are they. But at the same time, we saw that there are innovation going on. There are changes that they are happening, and these changes we realize that they're happening because of the community thing. And one insight that I get from one of the participants, she said that this event is a way to go towards a more sustainable food system. So I'm really happy that we had this opportunity about meeting each other and discuss. Maybe we didn't get a lot of content in this workshop, but I think we get a lot of learnings from each other, and that I think that's the most valuable thing you can have in 1 hour workshop. So really thank you for this opportunity to get to know the task to share the task of this to EIT and to all the participants that they were there.
Thank you, guys. I'd now like to ask Hussam and Camilla to let us know what you guys found out in the second workshop, which was on climate impact forecast.
Hello.
Hi, Camilla. You
hello.
have the floor.
So the second workshop was about gender data bias in applied AI. And I think it was a very interesting discussion we had with our expert panels and how complex actually this question is. But I think the most important takeaway was that we need to understand why we are using AI and what is it used for. So we had a bit too little time, but also it is important to be very transparent and communicate why you are using AI to the public. And maybe you also need to consider if you really need AI or if data science such as is enough. What other thing I think was very interesting to see regarding sustainability was that the speakers mentioned that maybe we also have talked too little about what the impact of AI is on sustainability. And finally, to keep out an eye on the guidelines and standards that are now developing around AI and data bias and linked to gender. So I think it was very, very interesting, and I would like to continue discussion afterwards with anyone who is interested. And I hope everyone who listened also thought the same.
Thank you very much. So from the next workshop, I believe it was Jacopo and Gabby. So if you could tell us more about the workshop that you were in, please.
Yes, thank you, Ellie. Our workshop in our workshop, we realized that what is considered most sustainable is not always the reality and is not always climate positive. So wanted to have the opportunity for Gabby to explain a bit more about this and tell us more about how we can be sure about the impact that we are creating with our daily life and in our job. Gabby, I think you're muted at the moment.
Sorry. And so, yes, this what Jacopo said is true. Not what is most sustainable, not always is climate positive. And the best way for us to be sure about this is to measure impact, and impact assessment for projects or startups or even big companies should always be measured. Because if we keep trusting intuition and trusting on our guessing, we are going to be dealing with bad consequences, such as loss of resources, time, investment on something that is not sustainable in the end. So my recommendation is always to do a LCA lifecycle assessment of your product, of your project, or if you want something that is quicker and more accessible, you should definitely check the climate impact forecast too, and do a climate impact forecast of your product, so we avoid creating bad impact products in the world. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gabby. The climate impact forecast sounds like a really useful tool. So next up, we have Aisha and Matusz, who are going to tell us about the workshop on a better life for farm animals. Yeah. Aisha.
Hi everyone. The workshop was about the current situation of animal farming in EU, and I will let Matusz tell us more about how the workshop was, what we came up with, and how we can improve the lives of farm animals.
Yes, thank you. Hello everybody. We had an amazing time during this 1 hour workshop. The discussions were getting really interesting. And during this 1 hour, we explored how the animals are living currently in Europe, in which conditions do we keeping them. And yeah, we discussed it a bit and we come up with some interesting ideas on how to continue and what would we like to see in the future in like animal farming in Europe. So yeah, basically we come up with we should really focus on bringing better living condition to farm animals, and we should really allow them outside movement as much as possible, because only there they can like show their natural expressions and behaviors. And also we need to change the mindset of the farmers and kind of give them tools to give a better condition to the farm animals by like maybe by spending like more for food, or like buying the food with the animal welfare certification, and giving like money to support this kind of improving of the living conditions for the animals on the worldwide scale.
Thank you very much, Matusz.
Finally,
I would like to ask Daphne and Simke to give us the insights on explaining your organization.
Thanks, Ellie. So my workshop was hosted by Explain, an organization trying to tackle a really central issue to reducing our global CO2 emissions, reducing your organization's air travel footprint. In the workshop, we were trying to answer kind of two main questions. How can we ask our organization to reduce unnecessary air travel and focus on making selected trips worthwhile? But also, what would a sustainable travel policy actually look like? So yeah, Simke, if you could tell us maybe a tiny bit more about Explain, like what you guys do, and what are some of the barriers or opportunities that were identified by the participants, And what would be kind of the main call to action you have to everyone here today?
Yes, thank you. Hello, everyone. So Explain is an international network of students and staff taking action to transform universities and make their travel policies and culture sustainable. The goal of Explain is not to get universities to be completely flight free. However, we do want to get rid of unnecessary travel, and that decisions are made consciously. Yeah, so the barriers that were identified in the organizations of the participants were in general that traveling for companies is a major contributor regarding their carbon footprint, but it's also a great asset. There's no awareness about the problem. Then there's also the issue of time limitations. Often flying is the most efficient and least time consuming option. So then you have the cost versus the time argument, yeah, always brought up. And then there's the perception of flying is sexy. It's seen as a perk. And then about the opportunity. So it's about prioritizing within your organization and yeah, thinking about are the trips that you're making worthwhile. Yeah, because you don't have to never fly again, but just make those trips that you do take worthwhile. And then it's about measuring, like encourage organizations to start measuring their travel footprints, because measuring is the first step to reducing. Then also it is about accessibility, work towards integrated international booking options for trains, for example. Yeah, and then lastly also culture change. We should ask all levels of a company to take trains if possible. So yeah, I think the call to action is that addressing aviation is an ecological and social necessity. Considering the rapid growth of this industry, we won't reach climate goals without addressing it. And yeah, it's a question of justice because 82% of the world's population has never set foot on a plane. But it's often these people who are actually suffering most from the ecological crisis. So change is not an option, but a necessity. So yeah, go home and think about how you can address aviation within your organization.
Thank you very much, Simka, and thank you everybody for summarizing all of those results. I hope that we've given you all some inspiration and some new tools moving forward, which you can put to good use in whatever it is you do in your everyday life. I would just now like to look at the Slido and see what you guys have been saying about the day so far. So hopefully that's going to pop up on my screen in a minute so that I can actually tell you something about it. Ah, yeah, now I see it. Great. Okay, so interesting is the largest word. Okay, that's good. That's good. Inspiring, eye-opening, interactive. I'm glad that we still managed to make it interactive, despite the fact that, as is so often the case at the moment, we are all looking at our computer screens. I know that it can be frustrating, and there's a lot of digital fatigue going on at the moment. Peaceful. Oh, that's also nice. It's good. It's good to be peaceful. Food for thought. Yeah, there was also the workshop I was in was about food, so pun intended. It was certainly food for thought. Good. Oh, that's. I'm glad that everyone seems to have got lots of different things out of it today. So before we wrap up for today, I would like to remind you guys what is on the menu for tomorrow. So if you have enjoyed today, as it seems that a lot of you did, please come back again tomorrow. Same time, same place, so 3 p.m. on the same platform, and you should have all the links in your email. So tomorrow we have the counterpart to our discussion that we had today, looking at our topic from a consumer perspective. We've got 3 really interesting women for you on the panel who will give you their take on this: Julia, Mara and Alessandra. Then there is a chance for some real virtual interaction. So we're going to have our networking session. You can arrange one-to-ones and group meetings with other participants. I hope that everyone who signed up for that has already been doing that, and you have the link to join the B2Match platform. I think that's really going to be a highlight. But it will also remain open until the 30th of December. So there's plenty of time for interaction. You could even be using it over the holiday season if you like. So that is what is on for tomorrow. And then, of course, after our sessions tomorrow, we have party time. We have some fun activities, some relaxed socializing, so that you can get to know some of the people who you might have already come across in the workshops or at the networking. So with that, I would like to thank you all for your attention today, and I really look forward to meeting you here again tomorrow. Bye, everyone.